my name is Lisa Schneck, and I am going to demonstrate for you in this video the way a typical senior fitness class would work with me. I would almost always incorporate Tai Chi, so there will be a little bit of that in here, and I will keep it to 15 minutes. So we're going to start out by sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take our shoulders, pull them back and down, and just kind of let our arms hang free. With our back, we want to round the back just a little bit, and then we're going to pull the shoulders back as the bum goes out, just the tiniest bit of an arch right here. There you go. Now we know what that arch feels like, and we know what it feels like to round, so let's find a nice neutral in between. Roll those shoulders back then 8 times. There's no reason to rush the movement. You really want to feel every single bit of your range of motion. There you go. Let's shake that out just a little bit. We're going to start with the right hand, put it out to the side here, and just at the wrist, we're going to move the hand around. So we really want to get, again, the greatest range of motion that we possibly can. And in general, though I may lose my count from time to time, we're looking for 8 rotations clockwise and then 8 rotations counterclockwise. Okay, and then come over here and do the same thing with this hand. I'll shorten it up just a little bit. There's no reason to go fast with this movement. What we're doing is swishing all that wonderful synovial fluid around in the joint. Let's shake those out just a little bit. We're then going to put our hands together right here. Let's interlock at the knuckles and just, again, rolling around in a circle. 8 times clockwise and then 8 times counterclockwise. There we go. Again, shake it out. Now we're going to go to the elbow. So we're just kind of moving up the arm here. Now we're at the elbow, and what I really want you to do is keep everything still except for from the elbow joint down. And from there, I just want you to roll it out. So again, 8 times we're going to go back. Then we'll go 8 times forward. There we go. Shake it out just a little bit. Again, our torso is erect. We're not tense, but we're nice and erect right here. And what we're going to do are some back circles. We're going to circle backward. Now, for some of us, it can become painful to do that circle all the way back like that. So if that hurts you, it causes you pain, and this is a great thing to understand in general. If it causes you pain, don't do it. Okay, so let's say that it hurts you to do that full circle. Keep your circle here in front of you. So it would be sort of like that. So I'm keeping the circle in front. And again, I would do 8 times. All right, nice. So now we're going to move. See here, so our arms are right out to the side. I'm going to have you bring them in just a little bit, and I'll show you. If you see me from this angle, you'll see I've kind of created a V right here. From here, we're going to turn, and it's just keep your face pointed forward, knees pointed forward. It's just right here at the shoulder. It's actually the thoracic spine that we want to get a nice twist, disassociating our upper body from our lower body. There you go. Shake that out a little bit. Again, let's go back to our posture. We don't want to be rounded at the back. We don't want to be severely arched. We want to find a nice neutral where we are erect, but not tense. All right. So from here, we're going to take our right hand to the outside of the left knee. And we're going to take our shoulders and just rotate them around so that they're facing the wall to the left of us. So here, right hand is on the outside of my knee. You can reach back here and touch the back of your chair if you'd like. You're just going to rotate around here. You want to make sure that the width between your shoulders doesn't change. So when you turn, you don't want to scrunch your shoulders up. Keep them squared, and here, and just a turn. And then we're going to do the other side. Just going to walk right around here. Right hand goes to the back of the chair. Left hand goes to the outside of the right knee. We can get a little bit of a twist right there. Right. Back to the front. Shake that out right there. We're going to go ahead from here. We're going to move up. I'm actually going to move up into the neck now. So what we'll do, again, make sure your feet are flat on the floor. Make sure you're sitting out toward the edge of your seat. Now, it can be more safe to sit back a bit on the seat. If you're able, I would prefer that only your bum is on the chair. All right? Okay. So moving up into the cervical spine, we're going to bring the chin to the chest. And then we're going to look up toward the ceiling. And as we do, we're going to part our lips just a little bit. Open your mouth just a little bit to protect your cervical spine. So you're going to do that motion 8 times. Chin to the chest, and then eyes to the sky. That'll be 8 times, and then 8 times you're going to take your face. We don't want a lifted chin, and we don't want a tucked chin. We want a very neutral chin. And from here, nice and relaxed, shoulders are square, and they are pulled back and down. You're going to rotate only your head. I think of it as either my nose or my chin, but rotate them right around here. What you're looking for is to feel a stretch, but not discomfort, not pain. So again, to the side and to the opposite side, and as always, I would say do those 8 times, right? From there, we're then going to go down into the lower body. So in this case, I would probably have you pull up your knee, take the toes and draw the biggest circle that you possibly can at the ankle. 8 times clockwise, 8 times counterclockwise. We would then move over here, same thing, 8 times clockwise, 8 times counterclockwise. From there, most likely just sticking out the heel, not really locking the knee right here, and then from the hip, and with the shoulders pulled back and down, from the hip, we're going to hinge right here. Put our weight on this nice stable leg over here and get a stretch all up the back of our hamstrings right over here. You can point the toes, you can flex the toes. From there, we switch, moving over to the opposite leg. There we go. And depending upon the individual, so when I'm training with seniors, a lot of what I do in the class, I'm kind of planning it as I go based off of who has showed up and what sort of limitations that they have. So assuming that some of my more spry seniors, I would go ahead and have them bring their foot up for the figure 4 stretch. And again, that's just bringing that, bringing the ankle up just an inch or 2 above the knee over here. Usually for most of them, that's enough, if they can even do that. And of course, I don't push that unless they can easily do it. From here, there would be a bit of a hinge here at the hip to get a bit more stretch in the piriformis over here. This isn't something that every senior is going to be able to do. So I wouldn't have them do it. And at this stage, this is when I would introduce dumbbells. So generally speaking, in a class, I would start them off with a tricep exercise. So low weight, maybe 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds. I don't think I have any of my seniors who are using 5 pounds on a tricep. But generally, I would have them start off here. I've always got music playing, which I can't do in this case because I can't have it come through my computer right now. But it would be elbows up and then a tricep press back. So I'd have them do a set like that, 8 to 12. And then from there, I'd have them sit. And as they sit, they're going to come into a bicep. So that weight that's working them on the tricep isn't going to do a whole lot for the bicep curl, but it is sort of a warm-up step in that direction. So we're going to go from here to here. And then by the time we come back for this third set, that's it for the triceps. I would have them most likely pick up a heavier weight at that point. Either way, would then turn into bicep curls by themselves with a press. So we're going curl and press. There are, as I'm sure you know, many older folks, they can't do the press overhead. In their case, generally what I'll do is I'll have them come up just high enough to bring the shoulder out about parallel. So maybe something like that. Whatever they can do, I want them to be able to do some sort of a press, but it is something that I have to watch out for. So from there, we would go to a chair squat, basically. So generally speaking, none of them, maybe there might be 1 or 2 that I work with that can do an actual squat, but largely they can't. And even with the chair, they're actually having to sit down and just rest. So they're coming up with the squeeze, sitting down, and then coming back up again. So let me scoot back just a little bit. Usually what that exercise will look like, either they have the dumbbells or they'll have a body bar. And I would have them, in the case of the body bar, coming up to their chest, and then that way as they shift forward so that this weight's over their knees and they're standing up into the press. And again, that depends on the individual, whether they're even going to be able to do the press. They would do that several times. Then I would have them, again, if they're able, to work on deadlifts, whether that's with dumbbells, over here, down, and up. That hip hinge is such an important movement that it's one of the first things I start trying to work with them on is learning to hinge at the hips. So most of my people can do a nice hip hinge, can do a pretty decent deadlift. So from there, and again, assuming that they can stand, I have a few people who cannot get out of the chair really, not safely. But there will be a lot more for me to display here if we assume that these are people fit enough to stand. So in that case, as we move into, and let me just adjust here. So in that case, I would have them come and stand beside of the chair, put a hand on it to keep their balance. They can take the hand away. I always let them know that I would prefer they keep the hand down and do the exercise properly rather than sacrifice the form on the exercise to be able to challenge their balance. But essentially, we would do both sides. It might be 1 set on the left leg, 1 set on the right, 1 set, 1 set. For efficiency here in making the video, I'm just going to keep everything over on this side. So I would have them start by raising the knee, rotating it out, and then bringing it around and down. We're going to do that 8 times. Then from there, they're going to extend back, bring it up high, and roll it over. We're going to do that 8 times. From there, I'll have them transfer the weight to the right. And we're going to do a lateral leg lift. But I always, with this demographic especially, I want the toes pointed inward, or in some cases, I'll tell them to lead with the ankle. So I want that ankle out as they go up. And you know, they really don't need to come really far up. It's right here, right? I'm gonna switch to this leg just because I hate to be unbalanced in my own physical activity. And I'll show you the other exercises. So really great hamstring exercise that I would move into would be raising the knee up over here. They're going to extend it out, bring the heel back to their bum, and then drop the leg down. Extend out, bring the heel to the bum, drop the leg down, and then on this third one, they're going to bring the heel up and then reset. So that is a dastardly little exercise. It doesn't look like much. It's so safe and it's very effective. So from there, so we've kind of done the hamstrings here. From there, I would then have them work on the quad. So in that case, it's going to be the knee up again. Have them kick out, rotate out, kick out, rotate out more, kick out, drop it down, bring it back up, pull it across the front, and set it down. Now that one is good for cognitive health, including my own. So we would run through there. And at that point, oh, and also YTW exercise is almost a no-brainer that I'm going to do those. And in that case, it is, you know, hips, hip to shoulder width apart, nice wide stance. Your unlocked knees, unlocked hips, and a bit of a hinge. And they're going to be thumbs up right here. They're going to bring the thumbs up and a Y. Set them down right here. Then they're going to come out to the side. That's our T. Back down here. And then we're going to come up in the W. And that's the best part of, that's the best of the three right there. It's a posture corrector. So I would have them doing that. But at this point, what I've really been working on is that synovial fluid, activating muscles that tend to be inactive. So now we're kind of ready to go. It's also kind of coming to the end of the workout. This is where I would introduce some Tai Chi. Now the thing with Tai Chi is that it's a martial art. It's not a fitness class. And it takes a little time working with the Tai Chi program to understand how to program it properly. If you just set out to teach people forms or exercises, the very demographic who needs it the most is the demographic that's going to feel overwhelmed. They're going to feel like they haven't really accomplished anything. It's sort of an art form. And I found that actually taking Tai Chi and putting it into another type of workout, putting them together, is more effective, at least thus far. So as we would segue into the Tai Chi then, I would, and you know what, I'll actually, it would usually go something like this. So we would start and with me explaining that I want them to pretend that they have something delicate being held in their armpit. So this is the way that Tai Chi, that monks learned Tai Chi long, long ago. As they were training, they would have a quail egg that they would place in their armpit, or they didn't, their master did. And the reason was that you needed to hold it gently. Not enough to crush the egg, but not enough to drop it either. So in Tai Chi, most of these movements, though they look really like big, sweeping movements, your arms really aren't going out like this to the side. They're going to stay more like this. And you'll notice as we rotate to the right and we rotate to the left, you've got quite a range of motion without ever even extending the arms out. So from here, I would probably have them go into learning cloud hands. It's usually where we would start. And I would do that starting with just the one arm. So we'll take the left hand and put it here. We're going to take the right hand. We're going to go from this corner over here. I'm going to drop the hand down and rotate my body across. Lift the hand up and rotate back around. So we come down with an inhale and we exhale, let it go. There is a twisting of the hand that I usually don't go too much into until they've got this movement. It's kind of a letting go motion that happens here. So we would do this 8 times. And during that time, I would talk to them about their breath, about the importance of uniting the movement with the breath, not rushing the movement. You'll know that you've got your breath right if you start inhaling here. And by the time you get here, you couldn't inhale a bit more. So now you're exhaling. There you go. So that was with the right hand. I would then go into the left hand, and again, just explaining little things that they're not necessarily going to remember right at this hot moment, but we can build on it. So from here then, we've done the right hand, we've done the left hand. I want to get the cloud hands moving. So the left hand goes over the heart, or the upper dantian. The right hand goes over the lower dantian, and that's in between, just below the navel, maybe 2 inches below the navel. So we're going to put our hands here, right in front of us, here. And one way to really keep this straight is to remember that the hand on top leads. And the hand on top is always leading toward its own origination, which is the shoulder. So the left hand is going to lead toward the left shoulder. And that really does help people keep things straight. So we're going to rotate to the left. And these 2 palms are going to pass each other palm to palm. So we're here. We start here. We're going to rotate to the left. And these 2 hands are going to pass each other. And from here, we're going to rotate to the other side, and they're going to switch. And then we rotate to the other side, and they're going to switch. And it can be very robotic, this movement. You can just boom. And honestly, if you lose yourself as you're doing cloud hands, which is what we're leading up to, if you just come back, left hand over your chest, right hand here on your womb, bring the, or in my case, the womb, bring your arms out and left hand toward the left shoulder. Here we go. And we pass, the palms need to pass each other. Rotate back, switch, rotate, switch. Now, once they have that down pat, or as much down pat as they need to have it, which is enough for them to feel good because they're moving. So once they have it down pat, kind of like this, then I tell them, now let's soften that up. And so what it looks like is this really wonderful motion. And at this point, they can close their eyes and just play with that ball of energy. Because that's essentially what we've got here. We've got this great big ball of energy that they can just kind of do anything that they want to with it, including firing at their other class participants. So from there, it would just depend on how well they were catching on to what we were doing. If assuming that they are able to get up out of the chair, then I would want them to do that and to begin working on shifting while we're standing. So I'll go ahead and show you a few things. So essentially, you're going to stand with the feet together, standing nice and tall and rigid, shoulders are square, and you'll see my knees are locked out and my hips are locked out and I'm very tense. And I'll usually have them get into something like this where they're very tense and really standing at attention, because then they really understand when I say now let it go. And so from the side, which is where you can really see this happening, when we say, let it go. The knees then come out, and you're much more stable. And of course, all we're doing is just dropping the center of gravity right there. And so in Tai Chi, we're always stepping out to the left. Let me do a little of these sorts of movements where kind of showing them that circle, because the circle is something that we come back to over and over. So as my hands are coming up, and then as they're coming down, so up and out like a zombie, I'm going to bring my elbows, or what's going to actually come down first, and that brings my hands down. So you've got this really nice movement that once you get used to it, your hands, you'll actually feel your hands tingling and they're kind of moving without you. So we usually go into something like that, some sort of movement like that. And then from there, I start teaching them to do their weight. So that's really a lot of what Tai Chi is about. For example, cloud hands. So if they could stand, then we would start here, low center of gravity. I'm going to dip down, come up right here, dip down. There we go. Put that other hand in there, dipping down, coming up. And then cloud hands in the front here is this sort of motion right here. Of course, you can walk with it too. And from there, I would start teaching them some of the poses, some of the forms. So pushing chi would be one that I would probably start with. So we're kind of starting out here. We've got our support leg. This is our empty leg. Just going to step out with the heel. Don't have to step far at all. I'm just going to push out and let it come back in. Push out, let it come back in. Out. And just that movement alone is really nice for people. From there, we can actually do, we push out, come back in, push out, and step. We can actually get them walking. I'm going to turn the camera down toward the feet for just a moment. That might be a bit far. You're welcome for this super professional video you're getting here. Come up here a bit more. Yeah. I think I'll end up just losing my laptop if I do that. So I'll just show you a few of the moves that I would typically use and then get this uploaded to you. So if we were to start, say, here, so we lift the foot, set down the heel, and you probably, I don't think you can see, but as I push forward with my heel, so the feet lead, but as I push forward with my heel, then my hand's going to come up here in what we call ward off is what's happening here. So it's kind of like a block. So from here, your hand's going to turn over. Those toes are going to pop out and turn out to the 45. And this right hand is right here and ready. We're going to shift our weight forward first. So the weight comes all the way forward before you pick up this foot. And then we pick up the foot, and now we're holding the ball here. So from here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pick up the foot, set the heel out. It's really more of a side step than forward. It's both. Very important to remember to step out on the side. So as we do that motion, the hand comes up in the ward-off gesture. We're then going to sink back, rotate the foot out, get this left hand ready, transfer our weight, and then bring the other hand in right here. There's a lot of other moves and so forth. Hopefully this has been good for you. I apologize that it's taken so long to get to you, and I also apologize that I didn't have any decent videos. I've lost 30 pounds in the last year. that I had put on as a manager, sitting on my bum all the time. So I just didn't want to send you a video that when I look at them now, I think, ugh, really? So anyway, hopefully this was good, and I will hopefully talk to you soon.